I'm Jaspreet, Company Secretary, and we are doing revision of Companies Act using Saransh by Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. In the last 12th video, we had covered reopening of accounts, voluntary revision of financial statements or board's report, financial statement, board's report, corporate social responsibility. And next, we are proceeding further in this 13th video. In corporate social responsibility, I just checked later that we missed this last point. When a committee is not required and board of directors can do the requirements of a committee. So where the amount to be spent by the company does not exceed 50 lakh rupees. So if the amount to be spent does not exceed rupees 50 lakhs, the requirement of constitution of the CSR committee shall not be applicable, and the functions of such committee shall in such cases be discharged by the board of directors. So if total amount to be spent on CSR activities, that if that does not exceed 50 lakh rupees, then board can comply with all the requirements of CSR committee. Moving further, we have entitlement of members to receive financial statement. So members are entitled to receive financial statements. Time period for serving of copies of audited financial statement. Now what is the time period? In what time period audited financial statements are to be submitted? So copies of audited financial statement plus consolidated financial statements if any, plus auditor's report plus other documents required by law. This is sent to every member. Every member is to be sent these. Every trustee of debenture holders, in case company has issued debentures, then every debenture trustee of the debenture holders have right, are entitled to receive copy of financial statement. Other persons being entitled, but who are other persons being entitled? Like auditors of the company are entitled to receive both secretarial auditor, cost auditor, and statutory auditor. The auditors are also included in this. So every member, every trustee of debenture holders, other persons, and in members also, in case of deceased member, assignee is to be sent. So that is there. Now in case of insolvent, assignee; in case of deceased, then representative. So these are all to be sent with the financial statement. Now in what time period this has to be done? This has to be done within 21 days before the general meeting. So at least 21 days before the general meeting, financials have to be sent. Here we find that the words clear 21 days is missing. So word clear was mentioned specifically for notice of general meeting, and along with general meeting, notice of general meeting, we find financials are sent along usually. Circumstances when a period can be less than prescribed period. So are there circumstances when the period can be lesser than the prescribed period? Circumstances when a period of less than 21 days be deemed to have been duly sent if it is so agreed by members. If the members agree, then even a shorter notice is allowed. In case of a company having share capital, so if a company has a share capital, then holding majority in number, members holding majority in number entitled to vote. So those members who are entitled to vote at this resolution, and those in majority in number, we are using the word number, majority in number. Okay, and then number two requirement is who represent not less than 95% of such part of paid up share capital of the company as gives a right to vote at the meeting. So they represent 95% of the paid up share capital having the right to vote at the meeting. So means preference shareholders, if they do not have the right, means if 2 years dividend is unpaid and they acquire the right, then they will be covered, else equity shareholders are covered who have right to vote at the meeting. So by percentage, by value, it should be 95%, and otherwise by number it should be majority in number entitled to vote. These both conditions are to be complied so that this 21 days period can be waived and even shorter notice can be sent. Shorter period for sending of financial statements can be complied if this happens. If the company do not have share capital, then at least 95% of the total voting power exercisable at the meeting. So 95% of total voting power exercisable at the meeting is sufficient. So for financials, it is required that we take care of majority number also, only for financials. Otherwise, 21 days requirement cannot be breached. In case of listed company, now in case of listed companies, copies of the financial statement and other documents shall be deemed to be served if copies of documents are made available for inspection at the registered office during the working hours for a period of 21 days before the meeting. Documents are made available for inspection at the registered office during business hours for 21 days before the meeting. Statement containing salient features of the documents. So, a statement containing salient features of the documents is sent to the members and trustees of debenture holders at least 21 days before the meeting. So, statement containing salient features is sent, but complete documents are kept in the office available for inspection during working hours. So, this is allowed in case of listed companies. We can say abridged financial statement can be sent by a listed company provided complete documents are available at the registered office during working hours for the previous 21 days before the meeting. Okay, so next we move to manner of circulation of financial statement. Manner of circulation of financial statement. Circulation of financial statement as prescribed by the central government. Circulation of financial statement as prescribed by the central government. Listed company, how will listed company circulate, and public company where net worth is greater than 1 crore and turnover is greater than 10 crore. So how will these circulate financial statement? They will circulate by electronic mode, and in electronic mode, or another option is by dispatch of physical copies as specified in section 20. In all other cases, physical copy with dispatch, and in case of electronic mode, when shareholding in dematerialized form, an email ID is registered with the depository. So shares are in demat mode, and means we are sending to shareholders. A listed company can send to shareholders who are holding shares in demat mode, and their email ID is registered with the depository, and to other shareholders who do not have dematerialized shares but have consented in writing for receiving by electronic mode. So shareholders who already have shares in demat mode, they can be sent at the email ID registered with DP. Other shareholders who have consented in writing for receiving by electronic mode, these can be sent by electronic mode. So financials can be circulated. This is applicable for listed companies. Apart from listed companies, who else can use electronic mode? Electronic mode is available to other public companies where net worth is more than 1 crores or and turnover is greater than 10 crore. Both these requirements are fulfilled. Those public companies, listed company and those public companies, can send financials by electronic mode. Net worth is more than 1 crores, turnover is greater than 10 crores. Then dispatch. In all other cases, if electronic mode is not exercised, means in all other cases means shares are held in physical mode and no consent in writing is sent that they be delivered by electronic mode. So if the shares are in a physical mode and consent is not received that they are okay to receive financial statement in electronic mode, then in that case dispatch is to be done in physical copies as specified in section 20 in all other cases. Next is financial statement to be filed with the registrar as per section 137. Section 137 requires financial statement to be filed with the registrar of companies. Annual general meeting held, not held. So if annual general meeting is held, then section 137 subsection 1 is applicable. If annual general meeting is not held, then section 137 2 is applicable. If annual general meeting is held, then copy of financial statement, consolidated financial, other documents, prescribed documents adopted at the meeting, filed with the registrar within 30 days of date of AGM. So this is standard what happens. Financials are adopted and they are filed with the registrar of companies within 30 days from the date of AGM. Now, second case can be unadopted at the AGM or at the adjourned AGM. Neither adopted at the AGM nor adopted as at the adjourned AGM. AGM can be adjourned for 1 week or such other date and time as may be prescribed other than national holiday. So if they are not adopted, then in this case also filed within 30 days of AGM, registrar takes them as provisional in their records. Even in the form UC4, we tick whether these are provisional financials or not. So we tick that we are submitting provisional financials within 30 days. Further adopted in adjourned AGM, filed with registrar within 30 days of the said meeting. So if once these financials are adopted at the AGM, then unadopted we filed within 30 days, then on adoption also again filed within 30 days of the said meeting. This is allowed. Now, second case is AGM is not held at all. So prescribed documents plus financial plus statement of facts and reasons for not holding AGM. If AGM is not held, then prescribed documents and statement of facts and reasons for not holding AGM. This is to be filed with the registrar within 30 days of the last date before which the AGM should have been held. So this is filed with the registrar of the last day before which the AGM should have been held. So ideally, if AGM is to be held on 30th September and it is not held, even AGM extension is not applied, it is not granted, then in that case also financials are to be filed along with facts and reasons for delay within 30 days from the date of last AGM. In case of a OPC, one person company. So what happens in case of a one person company? It shall file a copy of the financial statements duly adopted by its members along with the required documents attached to such financial statements within 180 days from the closure of financial year. So OPC shall file copy of financial statement duly adopted by its member. Here we have only one member, that is why it is one person company, along with the required documents attached to the financial statement within 180 days. So OPC has to file within 180 days from the closure of financial year. In case of companies having subsidiaries, so in case of companies having subsidiaries, a company shall along with its financial statement be filed with the registrar attach the accounts of its subsidiaries which have been incorporated outside India and which have not established their place of business in India. So if a company has a subsidiary which is incorporated outside India, then financials of that subsidiary will also be filed along with the financials of the company incorporated outside India and which have not established their place of business in India. Financials of such subsidiary shall also be filed along with the financial statement. 180 days is available for a one person company. Okay, so next we move to point. In case of a subsidiary which has been incorporated outside India, a foreign subsidiary which is not required to get its financials audited under any law of the country of which incorporation and which does not get such financial statement audited. A company, a foreign subsidiary which is not required to get its accounts audited under the foreign law and therefore it has not audited its financials. The requirement of the fourth proviso shall be met if holding Indian company files such unaudited financial statements along with a declaration to this effect, and where such financial statement is in language other than English, along with translated copy of the financial statement in English. So here what is meant is, first case was that subsidiary is a foreign subsidiary which is not required to have place of business in India. Its financials shall be filed. Then if it is not required to get its financials audited, then unaudited financials shall be filed along with a declaration that the subsidiary is not required to get its financials audited under the foreign law. Plus, if subsidiary is preparing financials in any language other than English, then English translated copy shall also be filed along with the financial statement of the company of which this is subsidiary, means financial statement of the holding company. So this is the requirement as to filing of financial statement. So generally we understood that ideally hold AGM and within 30 days file. If AGM is not, if not adopted in AGM, then again still file unadopted, and then later when adopted in AGM, then again file. Provisional is filed earlier, then final is filed later within 30 days of approval in AGM. If AGM is not held, then financials plus reasons, facts and reasons of not holding AGM, this is to be filed within 30 days. One person company has to file in any way within 180 days of closure of financial year, means the time period for holding AGM 180 days, in same time period this has to be done. Rather here words is 180 days for. So ideally for AGM the language used is, it is to be held in 6 months. So language is 6 months. However, in case of OPC, the language is 180 days. So this distinction is important, as in case of AGM, we are clear that last day is 30th September. But in case of one person company, last date of even filing the financials is 180 days, which can come to 27th September. So in by 27th September, there is no requirement of AGM because it is only one person company. There is only one member. He can approve the financials and it be filed within 180 days of closure of financial year. Okay. So with this we are done, and next we will start with internal audit section 138 in our next video. Thank you. This was 12th video, and disclaimer is that these are prepared only for revision purpose, and in case of practical requirement please refer updated laws. Thank you.